All right, we'll just...
Is the only reason we can now send America...
We'll just go back to Elon for now, and then I'll get back to the Gaza stuff.
Get astronauts into space.
We have all wondered when these two would fall out, but could anyone have predicted that when it did happen, it would spiral so fast? With one tweet, a truly imploding relationship after an extraordinary escalation in the space of just a day. Time to drop the really big bomb, Musk wrote. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And then, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out, Musk wrote. The spiral had begun hours earlier, before those remarkable comments. It was in his lunchtime meeting with the German Chancellor that President Trump was asked about his old pal's criticism of the massive spending bill the president is trying to push through Congress.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Musk hates the bill. It will raise the country's debt, he says, and he has been publicly critical of it.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair.
Musk was watching, of course he was, and he shot back on X, of course, to his 220 million followers. Whatever, he wrote. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched, very unfair, but ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. He went on, in the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that is both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. And then the kicker. Without me, Trump would have lost the election. The Dems would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Trump's response: Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave the White House. It didn't look that way on Friday, when the farewell seemed to be a fond one.
Elon's service to America has been without comparison in modern history.
Now Trump is saying this: the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. And now Musk is musing with a poll whether it's time to set up a new political party. And then, late in the afternoon, the wheels came off. We do not know quite what Musk is alleging with his reference to Jeffrey Epstein. He and Trump were socially acquainted during the 1990s and 2000s. Epstein died in prison in 2019. He was awaiting trial for sexual abuse and the trafficking of minors. Sky.
I love that they started the conversation by saying, we've all been waiting for this. Like, it's true. It's not wrong. And this is something that we've all been waiting for. And it has finally happened. It has finally unfolded. There's a White House response to Elon's Epstein tweet. White House press secretary issued a statement in response to Elon Musk's Epstein files allegations against Trump. This is an unfortunate episode from Elon, who is unhappy with one big beautiful bill because it does not include the policies he wanted. The president is focused on passing this historic piece of legislation and making our country great again. The very fact that they are so aggressively talking about just the big beautiful bill and refusing to cover Elon Musk at all, and even using every opportunity to talk even about Elon Musk in response to Elon Musk and bringing it back to the big beautiful bill implies how worried they are about passing the big beautiful bill. No denials. No denials. Interesting. Elon retweeted this video. I hate that this needs to be clarified, but no, Elon did not criticize Trump personally first. Trump criticized Elon first. Elon criticized Trump's bill first. Ugh. Trump commented on Elon. Okay. These are just like dick riders. He's so sad, and he's so goddamn desperate, okay? What? Check this video on Bad Empanada. If Bad Empanada isn't a Zionist psyop, he missed his calling by President Sunday Prime. Are you on fucking crack, dude? I just spent the last 2 hours talking to a fucking trauma surgeon that recounted the harrowing experience of treating children who have been shot in the fucking head by Israeli drone snipers, and you want me to entertain some fucking crackhead slop tuber and his drama-laden, drama-focused, idiotic assessment? Are you insane? No, I don't even entertain Bad Empanada's own personal point of view on these issues. Why the fuck would I care about someone who knows even less than he does? Be fucking serious, dude. Holy shit. If we're going to have fun and we're going to do drama, we're going to do drama that relates to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. We're not going to fucking cover whatever some goddamn commentary fucking YouTuber has to say about Israel, Palestine, or those who speak out against it. Okay? Be for fucking real, dude. Jesus Christ. You always do drama, man. Okay, well, now you're permanently banned, Mohammed Maghazi. Before we move on, Feroz seems great. Frontward-facing speaker for the Palestinian plight. Yeah, when he said he edited his stuff for Norm Finkelstein, I was like, oh yeah, that's how he knows this shit. Because you don't expect doctors to know this much about the conflict and the political back and forth and the history. What? Grok is going crazy again? What? Hey, we saw you from across the bar and we really dig your vibe. Grok, please add a yellow star of David in front of the beautiful Optimus. Okay, first of all, that's not Grok going crazy. That's Mehmet on this TrueAnon account, not Brace. Mehmet going crazy, okay? Grok is just an unfortunate bystander in this. Here's how TikTok is covering the Trump versus Elon feud.
Big news. Trump has finally triggered his first death flag route with Elon Musk. We all thought that JD Vance was the most dangerous route, but what we didn't plan for was that there were two yanderings. Elon Musk is the possessive yandering. And what does this mean? Just look at this proof, this screenshot, this concrete evidence I have for you guys. Elon Musk is revealing to the world that Trump was actually on Epstein's island. Why would he do this if not to take down Trump? And in these other messages, you can see him reposting people talking about how Trump and Elon shouldn't break up and how Trump is not the same man he used to be. He misses the old man that he knew, that he fell in love with. And if Elon...
Okay, I'm done. No. Oh, this is Trump's new guy. Trump picked a 22-year-old with no experience to tackle U.S. extremism. 5 years ago, he was a gardener. Last year, he worked in a grocery store. Only the best people. What is happening here? Trump appoints 22-year-old ex-gardener and grocery store assistant to lead the U.S. terror prevention? Who the fuck is this guy? Thomas Fugati, who graduated from University of Texas San Antonio just 12 months ago, is currently heading the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships at DHS. Bro, this guy looks like he stays on Reddit. I am going to jail, my boy. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh no, dude. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail for sure. Like, I'm definitely, this guy 100% at a point in his existence, his 22-year-old existence, has been in this fucking chat being like, why do you love Hamas so much? All you do is say America bad. Oh, ain't no fucking way. Someone said he was an intern at the Heritage Foundation. Oh my God, I'm about to be in an internment camp from this fucking intern's attacks. Why he look like this? Guys, don't even make fun of this guy. He might actually see it. He's fucking 22. He's probably a Twitch watcher. For him, just ran into Zohran Mamdani on the street. Asked him if he meant what he meant last night when he said Israel has a right to exist and has a right to exist with also equal rights for all. Crickets. It means it doesn't support apartheid, do you? Well, the answer is yes, for the record. Like, this is a just curious chatter, low key. He kind of looks like that one Child's Show. I think the guy died now, like the dude that was like really athletic with the crazy chin and the eyebrows. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, we have to stop dunking on him, dude. He's going to call it terrorism. Dude, I'm telling you, he's going to cook all of you, bro. He's probably in the chat right now. He's 22 years old. Found a 1-to-1. Stop! Oh my God, we're going to prison. We're all going to prison for terrorism. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, bro. What the fuck? What the fuck? I saw someone on Twitter say he looked like a Redditor that would argue age of consent laws in r/lolly. Oh, 100%. 100%. That is a iPad kid face. Or no, actually, you know how there's such a thing as like an iPad kid face? He has a Redditor face, okay? He has the face of a man who browses subreddits and maybe even moderates them. I am utterly horrified at what this boy, not man, is going to do. He's got resting Reddit face, which people most commonly think is fast.
News has approached the White House for comment. This is no trivial spat. It is between the most consequential president in American history and the world's richest man. Together, they have massive political and financial clout. We have seen what that looks like when they work together. Working apart against each other, it could be so much more consequential still. And it just got very, very personal. Mark Stone, Sky News in Washington.
Oh, Ben reacts. Oh, baby. Trump versus Elon. What the hell's going on? Oh, my God. Let's hear what this fucking dickhead had to say.
Woo! So
Thanks to you, I'm able to support my sister financially. Thank you for allowing to run the fan channel. I'm so grateful. Hell yeah, Hassan Daily. Keep cooking.
what the hell is going on? That is the question on everybody's mind. Obviously, Elon Musk and President Trump are now going at it like cats and dogs. And there'd been a lot of speculation for a long time that this marriage would never quite last. You're talking about the world's richest man versus the world's most powerful man. You're talking about two men who combined made President Trump president. Obviously, most of that is President Trump, but Elon's weight was not insignificant in the last election cycle. You're talking about a coalition between tech and sort of blue-collar workers. There are a lot of issues at play. But I want to break down what exactly is going on along three lines. There is the political, there's the business, and then there's the personal. So let's start with the political. So Elon's term in office came to an end. There is a statute on the books that says that you're basically not allowed to work inside the White House for longer than 130 days without some sort of waiver or without some sort of clearance. And Elon ran out that time. As I said on the air, I thought that what he did during that time was quite incredible. He put his companies on hold. He took a major stock hit. He took a major brand hit in order to come into the government and try to root out waste, fraud, and abuse through the Department of Governmental Efficiency. And Elon came in.
It's gotta be weird to just like, wait, what the fuck? This actually went viral? Y'all are crazy. All right, well, I guess we gotta fucking add more gasoline to the fire, you know?
Believing that he would be capable of doing all of that because, you know, if you don't have a lot of time in the government, you always believe, as President Trump believed in his first term, that basically politics runs just like a business should run. Meaning you can come in, you can fix the problems, and then you can move on to the next problem and fix that. You can come in, cut everybody. You know, Elon was doing the kind of thing that Steve Jobs used to do. Steve Jobs, of course, famously used to go into the elevators at Apple, and if he saw an employee, he'd ask them what they did. If they couldn't explain, he would fire them. Elon actually tried to do that exact same thing with the federal employment base. It doesn't work that way. So Elon was running up against the hard walls of what politics actually looks like. Regulations, bureaucracy, the balance of power with Congress. And within those confines, Elon was doing some pretty astonishing things. I mean, I know people who were working for Doge and with Doge, and what Doge was doing was pretty amazing. Well, in the end, Elon had to leave because his term ran out, and he was unsatisfied with what Doge was able to accomplish, and he was also unsatisfied with the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Why? Well, because he had spent the last 6 months attempting to cut waste, fraud, and abuse at the federal level. He might have been able to cut $150 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse, but the trillions that he thought he was going to be able to cut, in the end, have to come from Congress. And so he's looking at the Big Beautiful Bill, and he's saying, why does this increase the deficit? My whole raison d'etre is to shrink the size of government and to shrink the size of our national debt, because it is going to be a gigantic burden on the American taxpayer, on our future, on future growth, on tech, on all of these things. And so here we are blowing up the national debt. So that is Elon's perspective politically. And then there's President Trump's perspective, which is he's the most powerful man in the world, but also he has the constraints of an extraordinarily narrow House majority, an extraordinarily narrow Senate majority. And coming into office, it wasn't as though he ran on these kind of widespread cuts. Elon may have wanted to do them, and maybe President Trump wants to do a few of them, but President Trump had never wanted to restructure Medicare, Medicaid.
Oh my God, no wonder he has no motion now. He's so fucking boring. He's so goddamn boring. That isn't like a Keemstar orbiter. Watch the cutie clip. I already reposted. I watched it.
Hi,
I know.
Oh, no, don't. It's
Hi,
on
son.
ruining my date. Oh,
Hey, I'll be there.
he always yucks my yum.
I'll
you
be
know?
there.
Oh, boy. I knew
I'm
it.
freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking
Don't
out.
freak out.
I'm freaking out. Okay, no, it's like, guys, be chill. Be chill. Be nonchalant.
Nonchalant. I know I hate him, but I can't think of things right now.
Demir. Second one has 80k likes
One
too.
time he-
Nice. Hell yeah. Evet. Ben bu arada sipariş ettim. Yemek yapmana gerek yok bugün. Adamlara da sipariş ettim. Anyway. Trump announces travel ban and restrictions on 19 countries.
Trump imposing a travel ban to the U.S. on a dozen countries and partial restrictions on entry to the U.S. from several more. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, has the story for us. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Pack it up. Pack it up. Fun's over. Fun's over. Fun's over. The Elon Trump drama is done. Okay? We can't have anything fun. We can't have anything fun, dude. Fucking hell. God damn it, dude. God damn it. Siri, play Bad Blood. Oh my God. Birthday ruined. Yeah. Chuck Schumer came in. Ken Klippenstein earlier posted, enjoy this moment, everyone. Sooner or later, Hillary's going to post about it and it'll stop being funny. And Chuck Schumer is the one who beat Hillary to it. Get off your phone. I have to fucking set up the podcast. Suck my dick. Okay, there's like a million things happening in the background. I had to order food. You know, sometimes I'm not going to be as attentive. I'm sorry, you little baby. God damn. They're going to fuck this up for all of us. Worst streamer. Other points from a source familiar pushing back on the allegations. Everyone knows President Donald Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Palm Beach golf club. The administration itself released Epstein files with the president's name included. This is not a new surprise that Elon is uncovering. Everyone already knew this. This part is the funniest. This part is the funniest counter because it's like, dude, everybody knew he was affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein. What the fuck? Come on, man. Why you got to bring that up? Everybody knows he was besties with Jeffrey Epstein. God, we all knew, duh. If Elon truly thought the president was more deeply involved with Epstein, why did he hang out with him for 6 months and say he loves him as much as a straight man can love? Okay, that last part is good. Prime time has started on Fox. Let's take a look at what they have to say. I will say this. Not a lot of fucking drama from the Republicans. They're having a better go at it than I thought.
Musk won't forgive what they did to him. But a little beef about the big, beautiful bill. Guys can get over that stuff.
Never mind. They're just like, they're just joshing.
Pedophiles. But we don't always mean it. These are two big dogs living in close quarters, kind of like roommates. After a while, you get sick of each other. But usually men don't have a change of heart that fast. Just a few months ago, Musk said he loves Trump so much as a straight man can love another.
Elon Musk said today, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. What does the First Lady think about that?
Oh, I think she'll be okay with it somehow.
Trump's actually pretty forgiving. Vance called him a Nazi, and now he's VP. Megyn Kelly and Trump hated each other, and now she's at his rallies. Musk was an Obama donor, then he backed DeSantis. Then he went all in on Trump, and now he wants him impeached. So he's been all over the place. Will they patch it up? Only those two know. If you said I was on the Epstein list, it might take me a little while. But guys get over stuff. And if it's good for the country, both men are patriots. And hopefully they'll do the right thing. And if they don't, that's okay too. Newt Gingrich is the former...
Is shocking how, oh my God, this actually shows... Again, how flimsy this allegiance is. Cracking McWestside, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, by the way, seven minutes ago. But I'm only getting to it now, which, by the way, you can also subscribe to the broadcast if you want to show your support. This broadcast is funded by you, the donors, who subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime.
But in the long run, what's happening with China, what's happening with Russia, what's happening with the big, beautiful bill, those are vastly more important than whether or not Elon Musk is having a temper tantrum. And remember, Musk is the wealthiest guy in the world, but Donald Trump is the most powerful person in the world. And I think probably that Musk kind of forgot that. Musk money comes from having met consumers, having been brilliant.
5
Trump
cents an
has
hour.
the vote of 77 million Americans to say he ought to be the commander-in-chief. And in that kind of a contest, there's no question in my mind that 2, 3, 4, 5 months from now, Donald Trump will still be president, and Musk may or may not be relevant. And that partly depends on whether Musk decides to grow up and find a better way of doing this.
Does this kerfuffle affect the China situation? Does it affect the big, beautiful bill? Does it affect Ukraine and space? And what kind of impact will it have?
I think it depends on whether this is a temporary, very intense exchange or becomes kind of a long, permanent struggle. For example, the United States needs SpaceX. SpaceX this year will launch 97% of the satellites worldwide. It's an extraordinary asset for us. To have the President of the United States end up in a power struggle, which is not really much, it's a public relations struggle. There's no power struggle here. One of them is president, the other one isn't president. And
he called him a pedophile.
Yeah. And I think it's part of what frustrates Elon Musk is that, he has a fairly high sense of himself, and should. I mean, I think he's a brilliant guy. I think the things he's done are remarkable, but they're remarkable as an entrepreneur. Henry Ford didn't end up running the country. Thomas Edison didn't end up running the country. And
Henry Ford, also a Nazi, by the way,
is not going to end up running the country. So I think probably things will calm down over the next 2 or 3 days. Trump has a lot of really serious things to do, and placating Musk is probably down around number 27 on the list.
So Musk says it's all about debt, and this big, beautiful bill doesn't cut it. Does he have any point there?
That's just, well, no, it's baloney. This bill does more to turn the curve on spending. Look, as you know, I am the only speaker to have helped balance the budget for 4 years in the last century. So I have some notion of how you do this. This is the first step. It's not the last step. It's an important first step. It creates economic growth, which if the Congressional Budget Office wasn't a bastion of idiotic left-wing thinking, by itself, the economic growth would virtually pay for the bill. It has a substantial cut in domestic spending in a very large way. It reforms Medicaid in a very positive way. And I think Musk probably ought to get a briefing on the real bill rather than his personality feelings.
All right. The only speaker to balance the budget 4 years straight. Gotta love it. Keep giving him advice. Thank you so much, Speaker. And everybody go check out the book, Trump's Triumph.
Well, I guess someone has decided to throw their hat in the fucking arena. It's probably a simple calculation for Asmongold. Is this a real tweet, or did I just get fucking fake tweeted? He's basing Asmongold. Why? One must ask the question, why? Is this the Machiavellian calculation of the intellectual giant that understands politics? Or is it simpler than that? The answer is always, it's simpler than that. It's because one person follows him back on Twitter, the other does not. And of course, the Roach King will go with the one who follows him on Twitter, who has direct access to him on Twitter. And obviously Elon Musk is very, very desperate right now for any allegiances that I suspect Elon will return the favor down the line. He's picking the younger horse. Yeah, it is a real tweet, yeah. They're technically business partners now, getting X streaming up and running, so I'm not surprised. Yeah. Asmongold streaming on Twitter is fucking hilarious. He already got a kick deal on top of this as well. I talked about it yesterday. One of the things that I get really fucking annoyed by is these very obvious advertisements that people post on Twitter on my timeline. Every now and then I see them. Blue checkmark power farmers do this. Dexerto also entertained it. Asmongold was shocked after making nearly 40K from his first 2 Kick streams, right? This whole like Kick sponsorship, Kick payments are so good. Kick payments are so good, dude. Hey guys, come stream on the fucking pedophile platform, please. To which I responded with, Every single one of these accounts is basically doing promo for Kick. All the blue checkmark power farmers is a way to try and lure people into streaming there. Kick dumps money on rich and famous streamers' laps, causing the false belief that the average Joe will also generate dollars. If you're an up-and-coming streamer, try to use TikTok to grow an audience, then lead them back to Twitch or YouTube streams. There's a reason why only weirdos stream on Kick. Twitch has the best community functions plus revenue. Saying this as someone who's been banned 1 million times. Why is it a pedo platform? What was the long two-parter video series that came out identifying all of the people that disseminate and create CSAM on Kick? The average Joe streamer earns significantly more per viewer on Kick, and it's not even close. The point of Kick Partner is low barrier to entry. Smaller streamers can earn the same per viewing as big names with multi-streaming. There's zero risk. I stream on Kick, and the only growth on the platform are people who already have established communities, and they're going into other streams. Then you go into partner streamers who average 50 to 75 viewers and no one chatting. How does that one work? Is it beneficial to openly view bot? What? As a mom of two? Oh my God. Are these bots too? Or are these like real fucking people? Something about chickens was the person who made the video. I'm telling you right now, if you're an up-and-coming streamer, if you want to make a name for yourself, remember, going to Kick is career fucking poison, okay? It's going to limit your growth. There is a reason why so many fucking Kick streamers, even the top Kick streamers, have tried to actively make inroads with Twitch and YouTube, okay? It's almost entirely botted into oblivion. Every single big content creator that goes there suffers negative consequences with it. XQC is the greatest example of this. Once one of the biggest content creators on this platform for years, okay? For years. For like 4 or 5 years, he was the top content creator. He had a longer run of dominance on Twitch than any other fucking content creator. And once they went to Kick, once he went to fucking Kick, I mean, he made $100 million, right? That's it's over at that point. Like, I understand why he did this, but you're not going to make $100 million. You know what I mean? If you look at his statistics now, he has a third of his audience that remains. If you want to grow, you can't grow on Twitch. That's for sure. Twitch is not the platform that you will grow on exclusively. Twitch, on the other hand, is the platform where you will gain more legitimacy as a content creator and will be able to generate a lot of value, a lot of revenue off of the audience that you cultivate. But you bring in new people off of TikTok and off of YouTube. I said Twitch twice. Oh, sorry. Kick is not the platform where you will generate revenue. Do clips. You said Twitch twice? Okay, dude, you understand what I mean. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, I misspoke. It's great. You can at least make 3 to 4x on Kick in revenue. Obviously can't grow there, but if you have a dedicated community, it's good for small streamers. Try it out. All right? Try it out. Knock yourself out. I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's horrible overall. But the idea that you will have 3 to 4 times, like, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna continue growing. All right.
Michael, well, President Trump
announces travel ban and restrictions on 19 countries. Thank you for having Froze on. I feel like you guys could have kept talking for hours, debunking all the mainstream crap. Yeah.
is now reviving and expanding one of his most controversial policies, targeting a dozen countries with a full travel ban. It means no visitors from these countries, no temporary trips, no permanent moves, and it is sure to face legal challenges. Overnight, President Trump announcing a dramatic escalation in his immigration crackdown.
Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States.
Trump saying that as of midnight on Monday, he is blocking people from 12 countries from entering the U.S., citing national security concerns. The ban mostly impacting travelers from the Middle East and Africa, including Afghanistan, Burma, also known as Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Another 7 countries facing partial travel restrictions. People from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will now be unable to come to the U.S. permanently or get student or tourist visas. The White House says they're targeting countries that lack proper vetting, fail to share identity and threat information, or exhibit high visa overstay rates. The president says he's acting now in part because of the recent attack in Boulder, Colorado. An Egyptian man who overstayed his visa charged with a federal hate crime for attacking a group of demonstrators advocating for hostages being held in Gaza.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them.
Egypt is not one of the countries included in the ban, though the president is asking his team to review the country's practices and procedures. The new restrictions reminiscent of one of the most chaotic and controversial orders of Trump's first term. Trump barring travel from several Muslim-majority countries, an effort that faced swift legal challenges and was ultimately heavily restricted by the courts. But on the campaign trail, Trump promised to revive it.
The travel ban is coming back even bigger than before.
This new ban is much broader in scope than Trump's first attempt, but still certain to face legal challenges. There is significant overlap between Trump's original 2017 travel ban and this new effort. The only countries not included this go-round, Iraq and Syria. Democrats already sounding the alarm. Senator Adam Schiff warning the ban, quote, will...
It is pretty funny to impose a travel ban using the Egyptian national doing an attack while simultaneously not imposing a travel ban on Egypt. Not saying that they should, but it's funny to point to that.
Will only further isolate the U.S. from the rest of the world. Adding bigotry is not a national security strategy. Now, this is just the latest escalation in the president's aggressive immigration policies. The president is also announcing plans to block Harvard University's international students from entering the U.S., a move that may violate a recent court order.
Any questions, please?
Mr. President, on your new travel ban, why now? And if the Boulder attack was part of your reasoning, why not include Egypt on that list where the suspect is from?
Well, because Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under...
Yeah, I guess that's okay. Also, how the fuck is the World Cup gonna work? None of this makes sense.
Control. The countries that we have don't have things under control. And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. I even hate to say this in front of the chancellor. Of course, you have a little problem, too, with some of the people that were allowed into your country. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It shouldn't have happened. I told her it shouldn't have happened, what she did. But you have your own difficulty with that, and we do, and we're moving them out, and we're moving them out very strongly. But it can't come fast enough. We want to get them out. We want to get them out now. We don't want to have other bad people coming into our country, but using the word bad, I'm being nice. Okay,
the Democrats say it's a distraction.
In the melting pot that is America, travel bans are highly contentious. This coffee shop in Virginia employs people from countries on the list. The owner herself from Yemen.
I see firsthand the struggles like my employees go through. And they're very hardworking people. Actually, the most hard.
Yemeni people are my favorite people on the planet. Straight up. They're fucking amazing, dude. They're so sick. They're the coolest. Straight up.
Working people that I have here are from Afghanistan. So them coming here, they're adding value to this economy. They're not coming here and causing trouble or anything.
It's devastating for Afghan migrants like Atifa, who fears she won't be granted asylum now.
If I go back to Afghanistan, the Taliban kill us, or my children don't like to back to Afghanistan, especially my girl.
So this is not just a matter of education for your daughter, it's a matter of life and death.
Matter of life, yeah. For me and for my husband, for my children, for all of us.
Refugees are welcome.
The so-called Muslim ban in 2017 triggered airport protests and legal disputes.
So I just want to thank you very much for being here.
But the president, who's been meeting with the German chancellor, says he won't let what happened in Europe happen in America.
And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out.
He says last weekend's firebomb attack in Colorado justifies new restrictions. 12 people were injured at a march in support of Israeli hostages in Gaza. But back at the coffee shop in Virginia, a customer who fought in Vietnam says President Trump's actions won't make America safer.
I'm a firm believer in allowing immigration, and I think it's terrible that we're deporting people that really have never done anything wrong. They just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they get picked up by ICE and off they go.
Most people who work in this cafe send money to relatives back in their home country. So it's not just those who were hoping to come to America who will be impacted by this ban. It's extended families who rely on that support. It used to be the land of opportunity, but for millions, the American dream has hit the wall. David Blevins, Sky News in Virginia.
The president is also escalating his attack on top universities. He signed a proclamation last night to restrict foreign students, foreign citizens from attending Harvard University. He's also threatening the accreditation of Columbia University. Nikki Batiste has more on this. Nikki, good morning.
Good morning. The president's proclamation targeting Harvard is part of an ongoing back and forth over its international population, which accounts for more than 1/4 of the student body. In a statement, a Harvard spokesperson called it an illegal retaliatory step in violation of the school's First Amendment rights and said Harvard will continue to protect its international students. The move came hours after the Department of Education revealed its Office for Civil Rights contacted the accreditor for Columbia University, saying the school failed to meet the standards for.
Good thing Columbia cooperated, huh? Remember? Fucking idiots. If this didn't cause tremendous harm to the students that go there, I would be fucking celebrating. I'd be like, you get what you fucking deserve. Harvard cooperated too. They did it quietly. And that didn't work either. So then they were like, all right, fuck this. Who could have thought this would have happened, guys?
For accreditation. It's.
Here, I'll give you one other funny story. Now that Trump's ridiculous attack on all of the fucking legal agencies, all the law firms, is getting absolutely destroyed by the fucking lower courts, all those law firms are cooked. The law firms that basically appeased Trump did it for no reason. Instead of fighting, they just went, oh, sorry, yeah, we'll do pro bono work for you. Good luck, dumbasses.
It cited a federal review which concluded Columbia violated 6 anti-discrimination protections by acting with deliberate indifference towards student-on-student harassment of Jewish students after the October 7, 2023 Hamas terror attack on Israel and the subsequent on-campus demonstrations that followed. In response, Columbia said it was aware its accreditor had been contacted and remains deeply committed to combating anti-Semitism on its campus.
All right, Nikki, thank you very much for that.
So we got some breaking news from the White House. There has been a phone call between President Trump and President Xi of China. It lasted about an hour and a half, and apparently it was about trade and only trade. There was a post coming on Truth Social here, and I'll try and hit the highlights for you. Just concluded a very good phone call with Xi of China, discussing some of the intricacies of our recently made and agreed to trade deal. The call lasted approximately 1.5 hours, resulted in a very positive conclusion for both countries. There should no longer be any questions respecting the complexity of rare earth products. Our respective.
Good on Xi to finally pick up the call. Elon gave Asman the boost by commenting on one of his tweets. Correct again? Of course. Yeah. I love that every fucking part of this administration is so bad, so grossly incompetent, so horrible. Like, there is not a single redeemable factor here. Dems are living in an alternative reality, says Jesse. Let's see what he has to...
Not a single American's disappearing. No one's getting sent to re-education camps. And Big Brother is not in your bedroom. He's just on your phone. But Christine Amanpour fears for her life.
I must say I was afraid. I'm a foreigner. I don't have a green card. I'm not an American citizen. I'm fairly prominent. And I literally prepared to go to America as if I was going to North Korea. I took a burner phone, Jamie. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Trump's not arresting reporters. He's talking to them. Something Biden never did because he couldn't. CNN's running around pretending they could be arrested at any time. And they're asking Clooney, you're scared too, George, right? George, tell America how scared
Dog, they quite literally are. They are detaining people and taking their phones. They've done it to me. Well, not the phone part, but of course someone like Christiane Amanpour, who is a fucking immigrant, is going to have extra precautions. And they absolutely are black bagging people and shipping their ass to fucking CCOT. Dhoni's on CNN.
And,
Shit.
People take those lists seriously. Right. There's a lot of people, as you know, you probably saw in your mentions and emails and everything else, people expressing disgust at you. So this, for as much and for as important and hugely important, of course, when it comes to government contracts and the price of Tesla stock and all the fallout that is going to happen because of this feud that these two men are having, Musk really went there, and that is perhaps why Trump chose to respond.
What's interesting, though, is that Pam Bondi and others who have peddled, or people who have had podcasts who have peddled these conspiracy theories, who are now running, the FBI or running, have high up positions, they are in a position where they've actually seen, I guess, these files, and they are the ones deciding what gets released and what's not, and they are now victims of their own conspiracy theories because there's no there, and they're disappointing the conspiracy-minded people who haven't seen
It's confusing. I mean, there's a clip I saw of Alex Jones tonight, the noted conspiracy theorist. Who is
If there's no there, why don't they release the files?
So used of having good guy, bad guy. Normally, the bad guy's a Democrat or somebody who doesn't like Trump. And now they are really trying to say, okay, well, what does the conspiracy theorist do when another conspiracy theorist blows up a conspiracy theory about a conspiracy theorist?
Daniel Sullivan, thanks very much. Coming up next, more breaking news. Ukraine coming under Russian missile fire in the wake of its strike on targets deep inside Russia. Report ahead.
Teams meeting shortly at a location to be determined. We will be represented by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and Ambassador Jameson Greer. During the conversation, Xi graciously invited the First Lady and me to visit China, and I reciprocated. As presidents of two great nations, it's something that we both look forward to. The conversation was focused almost entirely on trade. Nothing discussed concerning Russia, Ukraine, or Iran. We'll inform the media as to scheduling, the location, and soon-to-be meeting. Thank you for your attention to this matter, which has been a way to conclude a lot of the True Social posts. Jackie, you're there every day.
Yeah. She should give some pointers on how to deal with fucking unruly billionaires that are trying to forcibly take over the government, You don't need the heavens mandate like Xi has to do what's right, to do what must be done, Trump. What? This is not real, bro. Well, if Musk got high on drugs and accused Xi of being a pedo one day, they'd execute him. Still manning this argument, what's stopping Musk from falling out with the U.S. government and tilting towards China or another U.S. rival in the future? Yeah, 100%. They wouldn't execute him, but they would definitely send him to the countryside. Like to do fucking hard labor for a little bit.
What do you make of what we just heard?
Well, I think it's probably the news that everyone's looking for in terms of where things are headed with the trade talks after the president posted overnight the other night that he likes Xi, he's known him for a long time, but he's a really tough guy to make a deal with. So this sounds a lot more optimistic about the direction that the trade talks are going in. I do find it kind of interesting that he noted specifically that there was no discussion about Iran, Russia, and Ukraine.
How come?
Because China's going to be playing a role in, trying to figure out how to resolve some of those issues. And if they can work together, that'll be really important. So
no doubt.
We'll see.
Just watching the markets, they've had a bit of a turnaround. Not too dramatic, but they have gone to green since this was posted. Just barely in the green, but it's green.
We'll take it.
To the latest on the war in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin says Russia will retaliate against Ukraine for its drone attack targeting air bases deep inside Russia. Our Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Michael. This morning here in Ukraine, Russia on the offense and promising further retaliation after Ukraine's bold attack on Russia's warplanes. Overnight, Russia launching a series of brutal strikes against Ukraine. Officials say over 100 Russian drones and a ballistic missile struck targets all over the country, leaving several people dead and dozens injured. Here you can see explosions across the southern city of Kherson. Ukrainian officials say Russia dropped 4 guided bombs in the center of the city, badly damaging its government buildings. The attacks come as new video shows Ukraine's astonishingly well-coordinated drone attack, known as Operation Spiderweb, that left Russia stunned and some of its warplanes in flames. U.S. officials saying a swarm of 100 drones hidden atop trucks and containers with retractable roofs descending on multiple airfields deep inside Russia. These satellite images show the aftermath, multiple nuclear-capable aircraft destroyed.
I think that it's very important now to start to speak with Russia in the languages of strength, because it's one language which this country understands.
Days following the extraordinary strike, another blow to Russia, Ukraine detonating bombs underneath the only bridge connecting Russia to occupied Crimea. Vladimir Putin in a call with President Trump vowing retaliation. President Trump posting, Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack. Ukraine is now braced for further attacks, prompting the U.S. Embassy here in Ukraine to warn citizens to seek out shelter locations and gather reserves of food, water, and medication.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, so would you consider to put more sanctions on Russia? Because this discussion is going on now for weeks and months, and you tweeted about it once, but then nothing happened. So
yeah, when I see the moment when
I can't get over how he's basically, what are you, fucking Lavrov, dude? Why are you the one who's like releasing communiques from the Russian president about when and how the retaliation will occur? Yeah, I saw JD Vance is hanging out with Theo Vaughn. Slow news day. What are we even going to talk about, Theo Vaughn?
I'm going to make a deal when this thing won't stop.
Is there a deadline?
If that moment, yeah, it's in my brain, the deadline. When I see the moment where it's not going to stop, and I'm sure you're going to do the same thing, will be very, very, very tough. And it could be on both countries, to be honest. You know, it takes two to tango. But we're going to be very tough. Whether it's Russia or anybody else, we're going to be very tough. That's a bloodbath that's going on over there. And when I see the moment where I say, well, they're going to just keep fighting. You know, I gave the analogy yesterday when I spoke to President Putin. I had a 2-hour and 15-minute call with him. Sometimes, and this is me speaking maybe in a negative sense, but sometimes you see 2 young children fighting like crazy. They hate each other and they're fighting in a park. And you try and pull them apart. They don't want to be pulled. Sometimes you...
Why is he talking like he's going to punish Ukraine? Did I misunderstand what he was saying? He's like, maybe on both sides. Ukraine needs a little bit of a punishment too. Sometimes you got to spank both children.
You're better off letting them fight for a while and then pulling them apart. And I gave that analogy to Putin yesterday. I said, President, maybe you're going to have to keep fighting and suffering a lot because both sides are suffering before you pull them apart, before they're able to be pulled apart. But it's a pretty known analogy. You have 2 kids, they fight. Sometimes you let them fight for a little while. You see it in hockey. You see it in sports. The referees let them go for a couple of seconds, let them go for a little while before you pull them apart. And maybe, and I said it, and maybe that's a negative because we're saying go, but a lot of bad blood. There's some bad blood between the two. I have to deal with it, and the chancellor has to deal with it. It's incredible. The level of, there's a great hatred between those two men, but between the warring parties. Great hatred.
Absolutely. And I'm here, Mr. President, to talk with you later on.
I'm sorry, what is the title of this video? Germany's MERS responds when Trump says D-Day was not a pleasant day for you? Dude, stop. I don't care that Charlie is covering the Elon Musk drama. Why are you coming in here and being like, halt the presses? Moist Critical is covering politics again. Yeah, I know, because it's fucking insane.
On how we could contribute to that goal. And we all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terrible war to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow. This is D-Day anniversary, when the Americans once ended a war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant.
This was not a great
in
day.
the long run.
Yeah, dude, did you not see that? That's why I told you, don't you want to watch that Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor, visited the USA? He said, that's not a pleasant day, D-Day. We really stuck it to you.
Pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant.
This was not a great
in the
day.
long run, Mr. President, this was the liberation of my country from Nazi dictatorship.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
And we know what we owe you. But this is the reason why I'm saying that America is again in a very strong position to do something.
God damn it, dude. Have some fucking respect, dude. God, what a schmuck. Yeah, thank God America invaded Germany. Yeah. Which technically D-Day isn't even Germany, but whatever. Thank God. What about the USSR, man? Maybe that's what he means. He's like, thank God you guys invaded and you guys came in from the fucking western flank. Otherwise, those Russians would have killed everyone.
On this war and ending this war. So let's talk about what we can do jointly, and we are ready to do what we can. And you know that we gave support to Ukraine, and that we are looking for more pressure on Russia. The European Union did, and we should talk about that.
We will talk about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good timing. The numbers for our country are through the roof, the economic numbers, because...
Are there German chatters in here? I want to hear something from you. We've seen a lot of world leaders come and genuflect to Trump. Do you think less of your leadership when you see them have to take a knee and just basically suck Trump's dick? When they all know he is a fucking buffoon? Like, what's the attitude in general from other countries? Like, I can't get a good read on this. Are you guys leaving? All right. Thank you for everything. All right. Perfect. Can I leak that? All right. Let me know when I can. All right. Merz doesn't want to be Trump, so no surprises. No, I just like with the South Africans, like they were talking about how their leadership did like a decent job, all things considered. But that's South Africa, right? Like very different circumstance for South Africa. But if you're like Germany, or if you're France, or even the UK, like you have probably a different attitude about your own sovereignty, right? Where I feel like imagine getting big dicked by a guy who you know is dumber than you and is like making ridiculous demands of you. And you just kind of have to nod along and give in to everything that they're asking for. I mean, every single employee ever? I know. It is like every single employee ever, except these guys are not, like Trump is not their boss. They're supposed to be established. They're supposed to be like individual established states with a much longer history than the United States of America, for example. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, He does not treat these world leaders as peers, but simply like servile little piggies. Okay, not Germany, whatever. I'm not talking about just Germany, man. Like, there were people there for thousands of fucking years. There were barbarics. There were the Barbaren. Like, there were tribal people that fucking fought against the goddamn Roman incursions. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand how you got all of that in your history, and you're just like talking to a guy who's also fucking German himself, like of German origin. And he just treats people like Xi with so much more respect and so much more reverence, which is understandable. That's worthwhile. But then he doesn't offer that same decency to you or your leaders. I guess the question I'm asking is, doesn't that make you realize that America kind of dominates the entire planet? Like it destroys the notion of like parity among nation states or even sovereignty that other countries have. Like, do you recognize the vassal status that you occupy as a European country? Or do your neighbors, do your parents, like, do they see that? See, there's even chatters right now that go, vassal status, ha ha ha, that is not real. Here's the thing, I'm not saying that to like dunk on European states. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that to make fun of you. I'm simply saying that because, like, on the one hand, European leadership believes and abides by supposedly this proud tradition of liberal democracy. But then they come face this fucking tyrant and they literally they're so cocked, like they can't even fake it. At least previous administrations engaged in diplomacy and made it seem as though they weren't vassals. I don't get it. Because, like, we have been able to dupe everyone around the world into believing that they have a say in this process and they're not just simply servants of America. With the exception of countries that America dominates and punishes for not being servants of America. And obviously, when you look at that deal, with only exceptions like China, which I guess technically were servants of capital for a decent period of time, most of the countries that are not servile to American interests get dominated and punished with ruthless force. And I guess my question is, like, does that not like make people feel a different type of way about America at all? Am I crazy?
Because of the election and because of tariffs and other things, a lot of things. But we've had some of the best.
Yeah, it sucks. Move on. Felt bad as a Norwegian Thor meeting didn't go over too bad. Fragile ass liberal chatter. He is asking, isn't it fucked up? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's fucked up. I guess I'm trying to figure out if, like, people will understand it, or are people close to understanding it, at least from your neighbors and from the people that you talk to. Like, do they see it at all, or are they, like, that's my question. Do they see it at all, or are they completely and utterly oblivious and think, like, no, you don't understand. Like, you just got to pay the piper a little bit. You just got to entertain him a little bit, but ultimately we are sovereign. Because when America says you have to spend 4% to 5% of your GDP on weapons, and every single one of these countries has to jump after America said jump, remember, like, that's coming out of your pockets, okay? That's your output. That's your taxable revenue. That is, instead of going back to, like, social safety nets, that's going to American weapons, you know? Isn't that fucked up? Like, Europeans look to America and say, oh, these guys are so stupid. They don't even have health care. What are they doing? It's so barbaric, yeah. And not realize that, like, we got here because domestically we did the thing that we're making you do now. Okay? Now we're making you do it. And you're a whole ass different country. You know what I mean? Like, you're a sovereign nation, dude. It's so fucked up. Stop the bullying. Time out the hate. Okay? Time out the hate. You know, stop the hate. That's not what I'm not hating on everybody. I'm just saying, like, before this gets out of hand, you gotta fucking, I don't know, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake your neighbors up. Because if they don't, they're gonna keep on hating on fucking immigrants and shit, not realizing where it's coming from, not realizing where the austerity is coming from, not realizing why their living standards have gotten significantly and noticeably worse in the last couple of years.
Best numbers we've ever had. They were reported yesterday, the day before, and even today. Country is doing really well. I think that one of the things you'd be most interested in is that 6 months ago, we were having a hard time getting anybody to join our military. I mean, they just couldn't do it. The numbers were record low. We couldn't get people to join the military. It wasn't me. This was before I got there, the past administration. But 6 months ago, a year ago, the